Alexander Isak, who you're coming up against, is a striker in fine form. What is it that makes him such a special forward, and do you have to do anything different to handle a player like that?
It's an understatement to say that he's in a fine form. I think he's in an excellent form. Also over there, it's the team performance that will help us controlling him. So the more ball possession we have, the easier it is to control him. Although he's definitely a threat on the counter-attack as well.
Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Ali Moreno. It's lucky that Shaka Hislop isn't here today, because it's the news that all Newcastle fans didn't want to hear, as Alexander Isak has reportedly said he wants to leave the club. He won't be going on the pre-season tour as it stands at the moment. Of course, Liverpool very much the suitors for the 25-year-old striker. The defending champions have spent a lot of money already, but there's still some 150 million down the couch to get Isak to switch from Newcastle to Liverpool, according to reports. For more on this, Frank Leboeuf joins us, and Mark Ogden. Now, it's not very often that people listen to Mark, but if you did, you would have learned over the last couple of days that he saw this coming, Mark. Isak, of course, now very heavily linked to that move to Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, it all started the weekend, didn't it, Dan, when he was left out of the squad for the game at Celtic, and Eddie Howe was suggesting that all was fine and he couldn't handle the speculation, and he wouldn't be going to Liverpool, he wouldn't be leaving the club. But then, 4 days later, he misses the flight to Singapore on the club tour, a 30-man squad, and he misses with a minor thigh injury, which was obviously suspicious. But anyway, developments are Alexander Isak has made it clear to Newcastle that he would consider a move. He hasn't put a transfer request in, and that is significant, because you put a transfer request in, it means you sacrifice loyalty bonuses and it can damage your kind of severance pay. But Alexander Isak is aware of Liverpool's interest. He would consider the opportunity to move away from move away from Newcastle, and Newcastle don't want to sell. So we're in the situation now where I think there's 39 days until the transfer window closes, and it's going to be a bumpy ride for the next 39 days because Newcastle don't want to sell, but they may have to, because obviously Isak wants out, so they need to find a replacement. So it's going to be a difficult time ahead. Right,
Oggy, with your crystal ball, give me a timeline about how all this is going to play out.
Well, obviously Newcastle away now, so that's going to put a lot of time and distance between it, because the other side of the world, time difference, etc. I think what will happen is Newcastle try and fight to keep Isak, but I think they realise that he wants out. So in the meantime, they'll publicly say he's not for sale, we want to keep him. Privately, they'll try and find a replacement, and Benjamin Sesko at Leipzig is a player that they like. So I guess that they'll try and make that happen behind the scenes, and when they get indications that they have a replacement lined up, then Isak will, I imagine, go. But they won't make it happen quickly, because the longer it drags out, the more, I guess, desperate Liverpool will be to pay what Newcastle want. And Newcastle haven't put a fee on him because they don't want to sell him, but we're all led to believe it's £150 million. So there you go.
There's no ploy here, Mark, just to get a new contract, a bigger contract, 300 grand a week contract from Isak.
No, I mean, he's got 3 years left in his current contract, and obviously he's probably earned a pay rise, but he's aware that Liverpool are interested. Right. And Liverpool are, right now, one of the biggest and best clubs in the world. I mean, even when they're not winning things, they're one of the biggest clubs in the world. It's too difficult for Isak to turn down. He's peak of his career. Is the opportunity there to join Liverpool, to win the Champions League, to win the Premier League. He could do those with Newcastle, but it's unlikely, isn't it? It's unlikely that Newcastle are going to win the Champions League or the Premier League anytime soon, especially when you look at how difficult they found this transfer market. He brought in 2 players, and one player was announced today from the Korean second division, so they're not exactly signing the top players in the world. So Isak knows he's got a great opportunity to play for one of the world's great clubs. It's not about a contract. Newcastle could probably double his money, and I still think he'd want to go to Liverpool.
Newcastle fans don't want to hear it, Frank, but it is kind of a no-brainer, isn't it, from Isak's point of view?
Yes, a little bit. I'm thinking about him. I think, why do you want to go in the middle of a transaction? Unless maybe Liverpool pushed you to push Newcastle to change their mind and allow you to leave. We don't keep a player who doesn't want to stay, and I understand him. It's maybe the chance of a lifetime to play for the biggest club in the world. We have to say the truth. But if it doesn't go to Liverpool, what's going to happen to him? I'm a Newcastle fan. Already you betrayed us, so I'm going to make you pay for that. But you're going to play for me, so something is going to be broken. It's hard. if you are so much loved and you know that something is going on, don't go publicly. Just say maybe discreetly, yeah, I'm open to go, but let the transaction go. Don't put yourself in the middle. Don't go in the front page, because it could be a lose-lose situation.
No, our fans are fickle, Frank. He scores a hat-trick first day, bish, bash, bosh. They forgot all about this Liverpool rumour.
You don't like fans. Don't be like that with fans. Fans can be stubborn and can make you pay off.
I remember Wayne Rooney back in the day.
If he scored, but it's true. If he scored 3 hat-tricks in a row the 3 first weeks, they're gonna forgive him for sure.
From a professional point of view, you can see exactly what he's thinking here, yeah?
Absolutely. And you can see the trajectory of where the clubs are going. And where maybe Newcastle is taking steps forward, Liverpool is taking leaps forward.
Yeah.
And this is a team, let's not forget, they did win the title last season. And seemingly they're getting better by the minute, stronger by the minute. To the point to where I would also say, we think of Liverpool, because obviously we work with Stevie, as this sort of family, community club, and the strength of Liverpool is in the totality of the group. They're crossing over into Manchester City territory. They're crossing over into Real Madrid territory, in which we're buying every good player there is out there and every great player there is out there. So this idea of Liverpool just being this family community club, I don't know. It's a lot of money being spent, and they becoming one of the more powerful clubs in the world. And when they walk into a negotiating room, they get the first say. They are at that sort of level, and that's how they're negotiating. And so if you're Alexander Isak and Liverpool comes knocking, you at the very least are going to listen. And if indeed this is a realistic possibility for you, you're going to do more than just listen.
Mark, I know this is really complicated. I'm going to ask you to try to explain it as simply and as briefly and concise as possible. How come Liverpool have this money to spend and Newcastle, who've got the richest owners in the world, haven't?
Well, Liverpool didn't spend anything last year. They brought in Federico Chiesa for £10 million. They didn't spend anything when Jurgen Klopp left, so they have money in the bank. Last season they won the Premier League. They had a great first season in the Champions League. They topped the league with 7 wins out of 8. So they banked a lot of money up. Now they've spent most of that already, but Darwin Núñez, Luis Diaz, and probably Chiesa and maybe even Harvey Elliott will all probably leave this window. So that will raise 120, 130 million pounds. So when you do the maths, bringing Isak in is not going to be that difficult. Newcastle, for instance, on the other hand, that when the Saudi owners took over the club, the Newcastle's revenue was so small, they have to build it up, and they haven't built it up to the necessary levels yet. So they have a very limited amount of money they can spend to avoid breaking PSR rules. So even now, after being in the Champions League 18 months ago, their revenue streams aren't what they should be. So that's why they're finding it so difficult. It's a surprise it's taken so long to get to this level, but they are still miles behind the big six, so to speak, in the Premier League. So selling Isak will make it a lot easier for them to compete, but that would mean losing their best player.
Is there any world that we live in, Mark, in which Liverpool will regret signing Ekitike because they didn't think they were going to get Isak?
No, because I think the situation at Liverpool right now, I think they're planning for life after Mo Salah. I think they've realised that they've kept Salah to a new contract. He's got 2 years on his deal, but Mo Salah probably won't sign another contract at Liverpool. So Isak's 25, Ekitike is 22, 23. They are building their next Sadio Mane, Roberto Firmino, Mo Salah front three with these players. So that's what they're doing now. So it's not a case of overstocking right now, it's a case of building for the future. And Liverpool, to be fair, on the last 10 years have been better than anybody doing that. So that's what they do. They're trying to get their ducks in a row for the next 10 years. And that you can't really blame them because they've been so successful with their policy in the recent decade.
It's interesting, Ali mentioned the fact that they were you thought of this as a kind of nice family club, not like one of the big boys who come in and spend a lot of money. But it's interesting that you hear from the owners as well, maybe their perspective has changed slightly as well, talking about what they think about Liverpool and the future and where they stand amongst other big clubs in the world. This is what Hogan had to say about Liverpool and their planning. We also recognise, having won the English League title for the 20th time, this is one of the biggest clubs in the world. We want to make sure that we are behaving like one, having massive global stars come and play at Anfield, filling out stadiums in Hong Kong and Japan. Those are the things we expect and want to do. We have a huge fan base around the world who crave success, and we're working as hard as we can to win more trophies. That's exactly what you want to hear from a CEO, not only as a fan, but as a player, Frank, as well. If you're thinking, where can I go, and Liverpool come and knocking, given that plan and given where they are in the world at the moment, it's going to be very difficult for any player to say no.
Of course, and he's absolutely right, and the statement is perfect. And when you're a player, the first club you want to go now, I would say it's Liverpool. It was like Real Madrid like 2 years ago. Now it's definitely Liverpool. The city is not, and with all due respect, not that attractive than Madrid. But if you want to play football and you want to be successful, you want to go there. And he's absolutely right. But yeah, you want to bring stars, but be careful on which stars you want to bring, because the Liverpool, I would say, roots are made on the team spirit, and Steve Nichols talks about it a lot, where you have to make sure that everybody goes together, the chemistry is always there. Liverpool has won the Champions League and they have won the PL title because they work together, because they weren't a big superstar. They were stars, but not that big, in order for them to work together and to listen to the other. That's the essence of how to win something, and Liverpool really understood it, and hopefully they're going to keep on doing that way. Otherwise, they're going to struggle like Real Madrid did last year.
If these signings work the way that Liverpool envisions they're going to work, Liverpool are on the cusp of separating themselves from the rest. I know that we have had a discussion in this show, and Mark was there, and I know you called him a liar because you wrote an article in which he said there could be...
He said it would be the most exciting title race in the Premier League ever.
Yeah, okay. If these signings work the way that Liverpool has envisioned, it's hard to make an argument for everybody else. It really is. Again, Liverpool are on the cusp of separating themselves, not only in the Premier League, but separating themselves in Europe. That's the sort of level that they're beginning to enter now. But of course, the big if, these signings have to work out and have to fit, and to Frank's point, they have to fit not only individually as a group, but into the club and the personality of the club. That's a big question that everybody has to answer.
And the first